This is going to be chaos. This is already not going the way I wanted this to go. Already.
My brother made that, you know?
I know, mate, yeah. It's a beautiful intro track, man. I don't think you should ever lose it at all. Don't ever replace that track.
We were sat down just like, how do we rip off Shaft without getting sued?
You did it well. You did it well.
And that's okay. Literally, like, it took us a while to try and like find like whether like the word image or like a look or a theme for it. And at the start, everything was like, how do we be Shaft? Don't know where it came from. We just had a day where it's just like, you know what would be wicked if everything was like cop themed and Shaft and like cool and slick, and then we're just like, it lasted a day.
We were thinking of voicing over like, do you need a podcast? Are you fucking hard right now? But we listened to our voices and we realised that's probably not very. That's not going to sell us.
Probably a bit too porno, Al.
Yeah.
Probably what it sounded like.
Well, that fits in with the show. We're named Thors-Kin. It sounds like we talk about penises on the show.
Do you want to speak to a sexy Shaft look-alike?
Do you piss round corners?
Right.
Piss around corners famously, or
should we get to introducing who this pervert who is joining us today is?
That was all out. Holy shit!
Oh, so better the company, you know.
Yeah, been on it 2 minutes and he's already talking about dicks. That's what happens when you join our podcast.
I brought that up. I don't think that was me.
Introduce yourself anyway, buddy. Let's get you on there.
Man, I'm Ryan from Sketchy Connection. Also, long-time friend of Al, I guess, man. We've kind of restarted our friendship almost here.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like, I mean, through the art of podcasting as well, it's been amazing. Like, me and Ryan we go way back. We went to secondary school together. I used to spend a lot of time in his house, actually, because my house was shit. I'm joking. Mom, I'm joking.
I'm so proud of my son. I'm going to listen to his podcast. I'm going to tune in. Oh, no, he didn't.
Whoa, your son's got a podcast?
Do you remember Nerf Arena? We used to spend that.
Oh, man, you're like the only other person in existence now that's going to remember that game. I can't believe you brought that up.
We used to spend hours on it. Nerf Arena.
Why doesn't that place exist for real, you know? Especially as Nerf guns seem to have had this recent rebirth, man. You'd think that would be something on the cards, like a Nerf center for kids to go and shoot the shit out of each other.
We should absolutely try and kickstart something like that. How cool! You'd make them
instant millionaires, I think, man. If we were to invent the actual Nerf Arena, I think come tomorrow Zuckerberg would have problems, man. We would be coming for that bastard.
Yeah, but could you imagine the legal implications? He shot me in the eye
with foam.
Yeah, but you are an annoying little prick. So there you go. So anyway, thank you for coming on the show, Ryan. I mean, not only are you like an old friend of mine, you're a good friend to the show as well. You've been really supportive.
I try to be, man.
And we were so smitten with the logo you designed as well. It's amazing. We love it.
Oh, I'm glad, man.
And I wanted to congratulate you on Sketchy Connection as well, because it has been a success. I'd say so anyway, compared to the numbers we get. Like, you know, you've really hit the ground running, I feel.
I'm not entirely certain, but you know, the amount of time it's taken us to get to that point before even starting to upload videos was, you know, it was 2 years, more than 2 years, and I'm not entirely certain that the payoff reflects the workload, but it's, you know, it's I guess it's all what, you know. I'm happy to do it regardless of payout, man. It's just been good fun.
I was going through
time.
Last week, I was going through your figures, and it's looking at like got to be like 3,000 views altogether? It's got to be something in that
I
ballpark.
think it's clocking in at about 4,138 currently.
Mate, that's amazing. Well done.
It's not,
though.
Where's your fucking million viewers, prick?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine 4,000 people looking at you now, okay? So you look out your window and you see 4,000 people staring back at you around the world as well, because we've been pushing you. We've got listeners abroad.
Oh, thanks,
We've got
mate.
one in Illinois. We've got a new listener in Illinois,
Wow.
I found out today.
Yeah, Alex likes to literally click on every listener and every view and like find out their IP address and like what their internet provider is and just what their subscriptions are and what pictures are on private or not. But obviously, you only get to find out which ones aren't until he sends them their friend requests.
They subscribe, I guess, man. Whatever you need to do.
Well, we are making a name for ourselves. I mean, if we got Garrett and Justin like popping in and out of our shows, and they're fucking filthy as fuck. Them guys are like. Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, and well done.
It's my pleasure, man. Honest.
It's crisp as fuck. Your show is crisp as fuck, and do you know what it's made me do? Because me and Ryan had a good night out a while back, and we just talked and talked and talked. And it made me realise like how much work goes into making something like Family Guy or Futurama or anything like that. You made some small programs, small clips that were crisp as hell. Like, imagine like if you guys had never seen Sketchy Connection, imagine a Family Guy episode, but on the TV going on, and then the conversations that these guys have during their gameplay with like. I'd say they're crisper and better than the sort of animation you get on Family Guy. Imagine that, it's fantastic to look at.
I've got to be honest, Al, the gameplay is almost a device to cut down the amount of animation we have to do. It serves its purpose well, man. It serves its purpose well.
So every frame he's had to spend like 4 hours making.
Something like that, man. Yeah, 4 or 400. One of the two.
God bless you. And we were talking before about you were saying you spent ages and ages working on one that didn't work out for you, and that's why I was saying I feel bad for you, man. When they go wrong, I bet it must break your heart.
Well, it's a bizarre scenario because the ones that you're most panicked about, or at least so far anyway, some of the ones I've been most panicked about putting out under the impression that they're probably just going to nosedive and that I find them quite sort of dull, have absolutely skyrocketed. And then the ones that we've really put our hearts and soul into, they really seem to take a little bit more grind getting them seen by people. But I guess that's just the nature of YouTube as a whole, really. Things going to click with people. It's going to click with them, It's
fickle. It is fickle. And the Star, because I remember you were really excited about the Star Wars episode over Christmas, and we were excited about doing a show for Star Wars as well. And our numbers do not reflect anything of yours at all. But we were really excited. We thought we'd do really well with that episode. And what did it do, James? It fucking
that you don't get excited about a film though that like people have ended up hating in general. I think we ended up putting out. Did we put it out on New Year's Day in the end? Or New Year's Eve or something like 7:00. Like there was better things to do. Like we should have just gone out and got pissed ourselves instead of even bothering.
It's the subject matter, isn't it? I mean, like people weren't happy with the movie, and I think the last thing they wanted to see was Star Wars. But still,
people are fucking idiots, Alex.
Yes, they are.
I've got a bone to pick with you too, Jimmy. That film was flawless.
Flawless.
It was absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
Completely flawless.
It was so flawless, it didn't have a flaw because it was full of fucking holes. That's how flawless it was.
I guess it depends on
it was
how
one
much you over anticipated it and read into it, man. Christ, it was a great Star Wars film, man. It was an absolutely great Star Wars film.
It got good. It got good towards the end, but like there was a long drag up to it, and that just didn't need to happen. Like you could have literally removed about 90 minutes. Milk. Yeah, the blue titty milk just didn't need to happen. The whole let's go on an adventure to find
needed to happen.
Some hacker.
I remember watching that blue titty milk scene and being like, "This is fucking crazy." And at the same time thinking, great, that's what it made me feel. It made me feel like this is crazy. So for that alone, it was worth being in it, man.
I think they should have gone the whole hog. I think they should have had Luke Skywalker straight up breastfeeding, not mouth on titty, just devouring blue milk. I think they should have gone a bit further with that one, you know. Anyway, we should. We've done sucking each other's dicks. Let's start this show. You're an avid listener to the show. What you've been finding of Superhero Bar Fight? You've been enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of characters that I'm not aware of in it. I mean, I can't claim to be an avid comic buff, man. I know a few comics in my time, man. But it's the diversity of my comic interests is pretty slim. So there has been a few characters in there that I can't really comment on, but as a whole, man, I think you're definitely onto a winner with it. And if recent viewings are anything to be held to account, I think you know that too. It's working.
We're quite proud of it, and you know what? I'm never going to sit here and be like everyone on that list I'm an expert on, because I really am not, and that's the whole point of it. It's like we're a couple of guys that know a bit, but not an awful lot, and that's the whole part of it. I think we want to interact with the audience. We want to put out what we think would happen, and then have the audience come back and say, "Well, no, actually, this and this and this is going to happen, and this and this and this isn't going to happen."
Yeah.
So, she can't see me.
Literally, the whole of that, I was just like, right, Alex is going to carry on talking while my girlfriend attacks us and just tries to distract everyone.
Your girlfriend's really hostile, Jimmy.
She is. She literally, and that's why there's witnesses.
She's never met me, and she's tossing me the bird, man. I don't know how to take that. Might send drone cams out like Alex.
She'd kick your ass, man. She
probably would.
I probably would. What would drone cams do if they got there? In fairness, just hover around her, just get in her personal space.
So last week we had Agent Venom versus Master Chief, and we put through Agent Venom over Master Chief, and by all accounts, I think we got that right.
Yeah,
a spectacular fight, lots of explosions, bullets, and pain. But
I just don't think
got that one right.
I just don't think Master Chief, even though like he's my favourite character out of anything, he couldn't put up with. As soon as the tentacles started flying about, it would be like going against him versus like the Gravemind and the Flood. Like he just get annihilated.
I mean, It's Venom, mate. Granted, a sort of suppressed version of Venom.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
He would kick the shit out of Chief. I agree.
Yeah. I really enjoyed talking about that, and I enjoyed learning more about Agent Venom because, like I said, I'm more into my DC and stuff like that. I don't know everything, so I went and I read about Agent Venom. I've got like a Marvel encyclopedia downstairs. I genuinely have. So I went and read about him and stuff, and he's pretty fucking awesome. So I might go and read some Agent Venom now.
Agent Venom has some awesome comics. He does some really. He's a non-fourth wall breaking Deadpool in a way. Like he's a more serious version of that. If you like Deadpool, you'll enjoy Agent Venom. What was the second fight that we had? We had
Punisher versus Jason Todd.
Yeah,
and we put Jason Todd through because of all his fantastic toys, and his agility. A lot of love for Punisher out there. We didn't necessarily get it wrong. It's just that when we were talking about how Punisher was a bit frantic and a bit, he doesn't mind running into shadows of bullets and shit like that. They reckon that his rage is kind of more calm and more purposeful than the likes of Jason Todd. So that people thought maybe he might have been a bit more tactical with it than I thought. you know. But there's one that did actually agree with us about, you know, the plastic, the grappling hooks, and the mouthpieces that Batman uses to breathe under, you know, all that shit. You know, I think that would egg him the edge. But
yeah, I think that the thing that like changed it for me was my most recent thing that I've got in my head with Jason Todd is Arkham Knight. And in that, obviously, it's taken like the Arkhamverse version of him, but in that game, like, he is a motherfucker. Like, he puts Batman through his paces, and the Punisher just would not stand a chance against the Arkham Knight. So that was like in the back of my head, even though I know I shouldn't. I constantly had that of just like what he is capable of and the resources that he's got, and that like his ability to analyze situations and stuff. So.
Yeah, and if you've never seen the animated movie Under the Red Hood, which is a Batman one, it's fucking brilliant, and that's about Jason Todd. And yet again, he returns to Gotham, and he's basically haunting Batman, and Batman doesn't know who the fuck he is, and he has to work out. And he's really fucking good. Like, and there's a really like I've never really watched it. There's a couple movies that like really do what they're supposed to. And this one nearly made me cry, man. There's a really tense bit between Jason Todd and Bruce Wayne where they're arguing and Joker's, you know, cackling in the corner. Definitely watch that movie. I'm not going to spoil it. It's really good. So, do we go with, like, it is what it is. We're learning. I would never give that over the Punisher over Jason Todd, and I'm not going to go over the group either. So, thanks for listening, but you know, fuck you. Oh god.
Yeah. So anyway, like wrapping up the dude, we're on like 17 minutes and we haven't even started a subject yet. So superhero bar fight later on. Okay. We're still doing.
I need to get these shout outs out really quickly. I just want to go on about the other night I went to. They called it was a geek meet. And it was a group of guys called Geek Out Southwest. I went to the local Weatherspoons near me. It was because of my friend Shane and my a new friend Vinny that pointed them out to me. I turned up, new guy in town, barely knew anyone, and I got welcomed straight into the group. Board games, like a quiz that's like. I fucking had no idea with this quiz. Like, I don't do anime, so every single answer was Vin Diesel. Brilliant guys. Had a few beers with him and a good laugh. So a shout out to Geek Out Southwest and to Joel who runs that because he does a good job. So that's that.
Boom.
Now we can. You
were itching for that, weren't you? You rarely do that. You're just like, no, I need to get this out. You're just like fucking.
I need to.
A kid who's eating too many blue smites. Just like,
he loves a shout out, Alex, man.
I messaged him earlier. I was like, you're not wanted by the CIA or Interpol, are you? Because I'm gonna shout your name out later.
Just like,
I can't fucking wait to shout you out.
We have his location.
I'm gonna suck your dick on air.
Why, Al? Why?
So anyway, let's go back to
yeah, right. So superhero bar fight later. We're doing the fight 3 and 4 of the heats. So we've got Christ, what do we have? We've got Kratos versus Wonder Woman. We're going to do that as the fight 3, and then we've got the Joker versus Darth Maul, which might sound like it's really, really skewed in the direction of Darth Maul, and that's because it is. But Alex wanted the Joker in there.
There is a reason why I've picked these two, and I'll tell you why. When we get there.
No, it should be a good fight. So yeah, we're still going to do that separate, so we can put it up on its own playlist. But it will be coming straight afterwards. So remember, when we've wrapped it all up, there's still more to come. What do you want to do first?
Should we do Spyro the Dragon at Sea?
Fuck off, Spyro the Dragon at Sea.
Enlighten me.
Right. Okay. So. Apparently, coming from a guy who only plays Forza and Call of Duty and FIFA, Sea of Thieves looks no good to Al because it looks cartoony.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've been playing it for 2 days. It's absolutely fucking beautiful.
What it really is, right? How are you finding it at the moment?
Beautiful. Let me just press my dick against the screen with it. This is something beautiful with it.
Oh, God,
ladies and gentlemen, he's actually got up.
Your end.
I've never played it, so I can't judge it, but it does look ugly.
It does not look ugly.
It really
Did
isn't.
you ever play Monkey Island? Did any of you play Monkey Island?
The cannons are hexagonal.
It's stylized. It's meant
For a
to
reason.
be. It's meant to be.
Do they fire Connect blocks?
No,
Fire fucking
they
cocks
fire
for all I
Lego.
care, man.
No, it is really nice.
It's a brilliant game.
So the graphics are completely stylized. You are right. Like if you want your realistic games, like this isn't for you. If you look at the likes of Ukulele and Snake Pass and stuff like that, and you're like, no, fuck that kiddie shit. Like this isn't going to be for you. But
the main appeal for me is the mechanics of it, man. I mean, that shit. You have literally got to man every element of that boat, man. I've been playing it for 2 nights now with some of my buddies. There's 4 of us playing. We come across a team of people on their own boat trying to attack us, and shooting back at them. It's just a fucking nightmare, man. Like if you want to do a U-turn in that boat, you've got to drop the anchor. Someone's got to adjust the sails.
And everyone's screaming at each other while this is all happening, right? Like,
yes, man.
It's one of those games that, like, I hate games that force you to work as a team because you don't always have a team, and it pisses me off because if someone isn't on a mic, you're just like, oh, there's the cunt without a mic in the corner. He's literally there playing his accordion. Also going,
don't ever play it without a team, Jimmy. It's not worth it.
Exactly, but this is the kind of game that it in a good way forces you together, and before you know it, you're all screaming at each other, like coordinating, trying to like figure out. I literally, I've been playing this for months now. I was lucky enough to get into on the Insider program, trying to get into the beta, but it was under like really strict NDA, so you weren't allowed to say anything except you'd played it. And the first time I jumped in, I thought it was shit. Like I was in by myself. I didn't get into a crew. Then I got into with a bunch of people without mics, and it was shit. And I was like, fuck that. It's going to be a pile of crap. Then a couple of months later, I think I tried again, and I got into a crew. Excuse me. People were playing it at that point. I got thrown into a crew with 3 other people that I didn't know. So just matchmaking.
Yeah,
everyone on mics, and literally by the end of it, everyone had everyone on the friends list. We're all playing, like talking and chatting and stuff, and like coordinating and figuring out like how to play the game. And it's one of those games that you don't have to go in with friends. Like you find friends making it. Yeah, pirate friends.
Are we playing tonight, lad?
Well, actually, I do remember Jimmy at one point was dragging my fat ass up the Wrekin every week. We were walking up this big hill, and I was trying to lose a bit of weight. And this is all he would go on about. And to be honest with you, he turned me into a bit of a lover for the game without me ever actually seeing it. And I had this image in my head of like this Black Flag style ships, beautiful looking rendered things. And when I saw the footage, I was like, is that it? Like, but do you know what? I can put that aside. I need to play it first before I start. You know?
I think you need to have grown up on this sort of almost cartoon fantasy pirate shit to be able to appreciate it, man. I mean, I have always been a hearty fan of the Monkey Island genre. And as far as that goes, man, it sold it to me immediately. I only needed to see a couple of screen grabs to know this game was me all over.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
They've had some shit with the beta this weekend, though, haven't they?
Yeah,
I had a hard time getting on that beta, man. I pre-ordered the game, and it took like well over 24 hours for us to be able to play the fucker, man.
Yeah, I think they got that all up and running now, though.
Yeah, I think they're extending the beta for a couple of days too, apparently. Which
rightfully
so.
How long is this going on for? I thought it was going on for quite a while, this one.
Well, the beta?
Yeah.
I think it's at least a week, and it's definitely extended by 2 days.
So is the game released yet, or what?
No, it's releasing later this year.
End of March.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's what cider does for you. This Koppenberg is awesome.
What are you drinking, Jimmy? We should declare our drinks for the night.
Yeah, I'm drinking Koppenberg, but it's clogging my throat up. I don't know why. It's just gone really horrible. I'm trying to talk, and I'm just like, bleh.
You should start smoking. Alex, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm on the old speckled hen, of course.
Old speckled hen, man. I'm on a particularly hipster can of Session IPA.
Session IPA. What the fuck
Makes
is
me
that?
feel like I should rock up into a Starbucks in a pair of flip-flops and plug my MacBook in. And I've also got a glass of neat bourbon, which only serves to reinforce that theory, man.
I was looking at what I've got, and I was like, I've got like 3 cans of beer. I mean, I got a box of beer downstairs, but my buddy left to me the other night, and I was like, I don't want to dip into that.
It's the best kind of beer, man.
Free
Anyway,
beer.
Left his beer. Fuck that guy.
Freer. I got like 3 cans of beer, and I got half a bottle of wine downstairs, so things could get interesting a bit later on.
Yeah, we didn't say, did
That's
we?
what I wanna hear.
We might. This might be a longer one. Like most of our episodes are an hour and a half. You might see like 3 hours something appearing in the bottom right hand corner. I'm just warning you, because
You can record 10 hours out of me, Jimmy, and I can guarantee you'll get no more than 30 seconds of quality audio.
Anyway, someone asked me a
Just
question.
have me introduce myself, and then I'll just exit the show.
We can edit you out. That's fine. Don't worry.
It's probably for your interests, man.
Right. So, yeah, that's great, isn't it? So,
That's what you usually sound like anyway, because your Wi-Fi is shit.
it's nothing to do with my Wi-Fi. Okay,
One of you has shit Wi-Fi.
It's
One
Alex.
Of you.
it's got to be me.
I mean, I'm not going to send out any drones over this, but one of you has shit Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's Shrewsbury. It's Shrewsbury. Anyway, Sea of Thieves. We should wrap this up because we.
Yeah. What were we saying? Christ. So Sea of Thieves at the moment, right? It's pretty basic, but it is a proper beta. Like it's not a marketing thing. You know how Call of Duty has a beta and everything does, like a week before it gets released. Except for a few minor changes, you are not changing shit in one of those betas. Like, except maybe, right, Larry, turn up that dial to 12 because we had more people in than we expected. This is like finding out how people play. This is about figuring out what content to put in it and like making sure shit actually properly works. And from people on good authority, there's loads and loads to be added in this, like customization, mechanic, like full gameplay mechanics. So at the moment, it's quite samey. Like you go around collecting chests, and the game is about the experience and about what it puts you through. But then that's it. So some people are kind of being like, oh, it's a bit Destiny, like what's going to happen? But there is more to come. So I'm excited to see where this goes, to be honest. I think this is going to go into the, you know how you've got your Destiny, Division, games like that. This is going to be up there. But the main thing that I wanted to say was, everyone knows what League of Legends is, right?
Yeah, of course.
So League of Legends... Fuck off, Al. Really?
League of Legends. What's the League of Legends? Tell me.
League of Legends is a game by Blizzard, who, you know, Overwatch.
Yeah,
it's like that on like a bird's eye view. It's like it's got 3 lanes, and you got a bird's eye view, and you got abilities on hotkeys. It's like a proper PC game. I'm not going to. Everyone else that's listening will know what League of Legends is, so I'm not wasting my time on you, Al. You thick shit. But anyway, it's the most popular thing. It's the most popular thing on Twitch. It's what everyone watches. It's like 150,000 viewers at any given point. Sea of Thieves comes in, fucking Mark Hamill cock knockers it out of first place with like 230,000 viewers. It's just destroyed Twitch.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I thought this was going to be a small scale thing. You know how Xbox has got like State of Decay, that anyone who's played it knows it's a really good game, but it's not got hype about it. I thought the same thing was going to happen with Sea of Thieves, that it would have a small, really loyal YouTube base. It's fucking smashed it. Like it's
because of the mechanics of the game, man. And this goes across a few things. The mechanics of Sea of Thieves are what drives the fun for the player. The graphics, like Al was saying a minute ago, having sort of toony graphics about it, hard-edged, sort of polygonal looking style. It's kind of irrelevant, man, because the game itself, that manning a boat between 4 of you and traversing a land is what is the appeal in that game. When you think of it like that, man, all the graphics in the world are irrelevant to why that game works. It's kind of the same across technology, across the board, man. When you think about like phones and stuff that people are using these days, there is nowhere else they can go. We've got a screen. We've got all the amount of graphical power that a phone needs to work. There is nothing else left for that phone to do. You can't, if someone's going to upgrade their phone these days, there isn't really anything they're going to get out of it. The only thing left to do is to make the content available on that specific device shine, make something.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if I'm making much sense here, guys, but
you are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I disagree because I'm pretty sure Amazon is going to build one into your arm in the next few years. But it makes total sense.
My fucking window now, Jimmy.
You love these
drones.
drones.
Dot on my head. You don't see that.
Anyway, let's get back on track.
PUBG.
Yeah,
PUBG.
Jesus Christ, 4 million. Right, this is not my kind of game at all. But it's fucking huge.
Game of the year, apparently, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's I don't get the hype around it, to be honest. Me personally, now I get the hype in general, but that kind of game. I played Fortnite, right? I played the battle royale version of Fortnite, and I waited. Must have been 4 or 5, maybe 6 minutes to get into the first game. Fly in, like parachute down. I had this little pickaxe and I was going around pretending I was a Minecraft guy. Couldn't find shit. First person I ran into, he already had like a bazooka and an AK-47, and I was dead. And then you're back to a loading screen.
Say, this is probably a game I'm probably going to get absolutely raped at, because it looks like the type of people that play it are just like gaming pros. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be tense regardless of, to be honest, I think anyone can stand a chance in it. You've got to have a little bit of luck and a little bit of something about you. But I think anyone can sort of play it. But if you die quickly, the majority of your playtime's taken up on loading screens. So I can't see it being a game that I get massively into. But that's not to take away from the fact of 4 million just on a console that apparently
biggest contest, isn't it? It's gaming's biggest contest. That's pretty much why it's so successful, as far as I can see. It's a platform for every avid shooter to have a crack at and see if they're the best out there. That is literally it. It's battle royale for gamers across the world. That is the sort of platform of PUBG. Am I the best at shooters?
What do you think is going to happen, though, when cause obviously Fortnite is free to play and PUBG is still in game preview? Not that game preview buy-ins don't matter, because technically they've bought the game, they've just bought it early. Do you think when it's on its full release and it comes out on PS4, because it inevitably will, it's exclusive at the moment, Xbox and marketing it it's the same with Ark, it's only an exclusive because it's a game preview game, and Xbox have a game preview program to launch it into. That's all that makes it exclusive. When it comes out on PlayStation, do you think that the same level of hype is going to be there, or do you think the fact that you'll have had Fortnite, the fact that you'll have had by that point Darwin Project, there's a handful more that we saw at E3 technically last year now, that are they're all this battle royale, apocalyptic, everyone v everyone, huge on Twitter, that kind of push of style. Do you think people are still going to be looking for PUBG, or do you think it's just?
I think that as long as a free alternative exists, PUBG is going to find it pretty difficult to compete. And I know I forgot what it's even called.
Fortnite.
I know Fortnite is a lot more sort of slapdash in the way of gameplay. It's not quite as intricate.
Is Fortnite going to be free forever, or is it in a beta phase?
It's a free-to-play mode of it, yeah.
Fuck, man. Gamers, man, as soon as they attach a price tag to that, then everyone will just abandon ship straight away.
Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking.
As long as Fallout continues to do this, PUBG is going to suffer in the Western world, man, as it is currently.
Yeah, and like where they're going to go, they're going to buy PUBG, aren't they? But if you're used to playing that sort of gameplay, a lot of them, even if not all of them, are going to move on to PUBG. So I think it'd be a wise move just to fuck the Fortnite fans and just throw it in the bin.
I think you might have misinterpreted the point. I think Fortnite killing it out.
Yeah.
Fortnite are absolutely killing it.
Yeah, they are at the moment. It doesn't seem to be
currently in the Western world. PUBG is the second place battle royale game. And I for one really fucking hope battle royale doesn't become the main emphasis on gaming in 2018, because it's soulless as shit, man. Big open map, everyone dart in and kill each other. Where's the fucking narrative? Where's the world? I play gaming as an escape, man. I game as an escape to experience a world that I will never get to experience in my current form. Why the fuck would I want to just spend my time gaming in an average sort of Eastern European looking land shooting my comrades, man? Fuck that.
It's so weird though, because like Fortnite as a free alternative must be taking advantage of such like the cheapskate nature of gamers, but PUBG doesn't seem to be slowing down. That's the thing. That's the reason why I brought it up. Was like, how the fuck is it selling so much? It's selling like a AAA multiplat, and it's selling like a fucking good one as well. So yeah, watch this space anyway, because I think that game's gonna hit 5, 6, maybe even 7 million by the end of this year.
I think it's going to become the main platform for gamers to compete upon. If it's not PUBG, then it'll be something similar, and I think that is that is literally where its success as a game comes from. That it's just a platform for people to compete, for hardcore shooters to compete.
And it says something when people would rather go for these huge maps and huge communities and like lose a bit of the quality as well, because I know it looks great, and it does play great, but it doesn't look as good as you say your Call of Duties and your Battlefield and stuff like that. But exactly, yeah. So like people really, that's a huge step to make, like to have these huge communities and these huge maps. Oh, dry mouth, sorry. That's a huge indicator to that's what people want. No, Jimmy's at his house and I'm at mine. That's not happening. Sorry guys, I did go quiet then. I was trying to do the social media thing, but my phone fucked up, so fuck that.
No, it's good. No one appreciates your input anyway. You are not respected. Anyway, Game Pass. Game Pass rocked some fucking boats this week. So Xbox has got this program called Xbox Game Pass where you pay a little bit too much for probably not enough games at the moment, but it's like one of those moving forward things where you just get you can download the games and you play them locally, so you don't have to stream them, and you get access to a library of at the moment over 100 games. And they announced this week that all Microsoft exclusives moving forward are going to be in Game Pass day and date on release day permanently. So for that, what is it, $6.99, $7.99 a month, you get to have a new Forza game every year. You'll get to play Halo 6 in its completion, Gears of War 5 in its completion, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, Fable 4 when it gets done, any other games that are coming out, all day and day as part of Game Pass.
That doesn't sound like Microsoft to me. There's got to be something that sounds too good to be true. It's like there's got to be.
Have you seen the games that they give away? They're pathetic, man.
I'm expecting some big wet dick to enter my mouth at some point, because that sounds too good to be true. Like this Game Access thing, I thought it was the only thing that it was going to have in common with me is that it was a grower, not a shower. Like, because like Netflix at first, I hated Netflix. It was shit. Like, so I didn't bother, and then it became really good, and now everybody's on Netflix. The same as this Game Access. They need to prove that point first, okay?
Well, I think that's what this is. Like, the more stuff that they put in Game Pass, then like if they put the exclusive content in there, it's a reason for people to come back. I remember reading some older interviews with Phil Spencer, and his vision of it basically was that if they have enough content in there, then it becomes a platform for people to release exclusive content into. So, you know, like, as an example, and don't read too much into this, but just as an example, you know how, like, Telltale do their episodic thing?
Yeah.
Where you could have something like that, basically, that is funded through GamePass funding that releases into that program. Stuff like that, but they've got to start somewhere. So putting all your exclusive content into one place, to me, just off the way that I just described it there, the fact that I'm going to get a new Forza game each year, Halo, Gears, Fable, every other exclusive title, I'm going to get for that price of a subscription that I'm already paying for. So now I've got two choices. I can either decide now to get the season passes for stuff, or all of a sudden I'm going to be able to afford everything I can on the PlayStation side, yet Microsoft's still getting
but are
my
they
money.
going to give you like the first 6 levels for the first 6 months and then release?
It's the full
Do you
game.
know what I mean?
No, it's the full game. The way Game Pass works, it's the full game.
And is it just one game per year? Is it?
No. So, do you not understand how Game Pass works? Then, if you're not, shall I explain it in full?
I've not got a PlayStation either, man.
Okay, no, it's on Xbox. It's Xbox's
All right, so I'm just an idiot then, Jimmy. Carry on.
Yeah, it's basically like what PS Now is for Xbox.
Fucking guests, man.
So at the moment, there's about 100 games in there. So you flick through it like you do Netflix. You choose what to click on, and it downloads that, and then it's added to your library. So you could buy a new Xbox. You could get your Game Pass subscription, pay your $6.99, $7.99, whatever it is, for that month, and obviously roll in ongoing. And you could go through, click on everything, and you'd have 100+ games in your library. So what they're doing, a few games now and again leave because of licensing, but what they're doing is building on it so that list is ever growing. And what they've just done is announce that all of their Microsoft produced exclusives are going in there on day one. Now, obviously, stuff like that usually it's older games, things that you can get the license in for cheaps, things like that. They're not going to lose out on the sales on. Microsoft have literally just gone balls deep into it and gone, you know what, we need to like make it work. If it's gonna with this, and they're releasing their exclusives on day one into it, full title. So you will literally get.
You need to do something. Compete with PlayStation, man. The games those guys give away for their monthly subscription, absolutely fucking pan Microsoft, man.
Not always. I have a. Sometimes they do, but then sometimes it's the other way around. Like the thing is, they used to release better titles when it wasn't a paid service. That's the weird thing. Like since I've had one, like since October, I think they've had one really, really, really solid giveaway month on PlayStation, and everything else has been shit. Now, granted, that stands for both sides, but the thing is, if free games are free games, like yes, they're not free because you're paying for the service, but like you are already paying that same amount pretty much for just the multiplayer before they were adding games with gold and PS Now. So, but the thing is, it's not. This isn't the same thing. That's the free games that you get with your multiplayer subscription. This is like the streaming service side of things. This is your subscription service to a separate catalog, if that makes sense. But yeah, so the reason why I brought all that up anyway, enough waffling, was what do you guys think with like the future of gaming? Because there's been most people that I've seen have been commenting, you know, how ridiculously consumer friendly is this? Like, I'm gonna have so much money for other games, and that's the point. Is like that money, the people who get this stuff, they're addicted to video games. They're gonna pump it back. If they were gonna buy Halo or Assassin's Creed, and you've just given them Halo for their subscription, they're now going to go out and buy Assassin's Creed instead. It's still back into the industry. So a lot of people have been saying that, and then a few people that I've been seeing a little bit negative on it because of what it represents with maybe getting rid of consoles in the future and moving over to pure streaming and stuff. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Like, where do you see it going? And not like the inevitable, because of course we're going to move away from it one day, but like realistic time frames and stuff. What do you guys see happening within the next generation or two?
Reasons, man. I think we've got a definite 3-year lull, at least 3 years ahead of us. And I know this is an external reason here, Jimmy, but I feel like creating midlife consoles that are so fucking powerful that they might as well have been next-gen consoles is enough for us to be stuck in a perpetual 3-year period of just no real innovation in games. No one, either platform can't really pursue a next gen or what we perceive to be a next generation gaming experience when they've still got to cater for the people in the previous generation for that time. Again, I know this is something that is sort of external to your initial point, but in its own right, that is my answer to the question. I feel like in this period of time, we're going to be stuck in a period where games won't move too far because they've sown themselves into their own grave. Every game that comes out is going to have to be able to be played on an inferior package. And until they decide to launch a next generation console, I really can't see that elevating. And I can't see that happening for a long time. Like they put so much into these two consoles, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One, whatever the fuck they call it now. I can't see them moving along from that for a few years.
And do you think developers realize this? People like Rockstar, for example, that are making games, but they're holding out on their trident, their huge fucking game, GTA. Obviously, everybody wants a GTA 6, but they're taking their time.
Rockstar are an anomaly, Al. I feel like they could release a game for the fucking PlayStation 1 now, and it would be a hit.
Yeah, they literally could. They could. You know what? You are so right. They could release a game, probably that was on. If they released it on PlayStation 1 or 2,
Game Boy Advanced,
people
like that. No backlight, no nothing.
It would sell 500,000 copies, guaranteed. Absolute guaranteed. People
GTA
would dig
Chinatown,
out their games.
Look at that, man. That game was pants.
Imagine if they did a GTA 1 and 2 bundle in like some fancy artwork that only worked on your PS1. It would sell a couple mil.
Definitely.
So yeah, they are a bit of an anomaly.
They're kind of an anomaly, yeah. But I really do feel like we're looking at a stale period in gaming at the moment. People have made midlife consoles that are far too powerful for their own good, with far too expensive a marketing campaign. That's they're going to be plugging this shit for a good while yet.
And I feel like
it'll be a long time before we see a next generation console.
As far as marketing is concerned, I mean, we've spoken about this before. Consumerism is at a crazy level right now. People will pay for anything. They may complain about it afterwards, but like, I know there's a few companies like EA backpedaling right now, but we're in a position right now where they could sell dog shit to people and they would pay for it. So I just don't think that's going to change. I think because of those fair few that are putting their money where their mouth is and buying these things.
I don't know, man. I feel like you look at Battlefront as a perfect example of this, man. That people united against a valid cause. That gaming as a whole was shafting us in a big way, and everyone boycotted it. I boycotted it, and I was really fucking looking forward to that game, man. I remember listening to the podcast you guys put out on that game, and I was thinking to myself, "No, I think these people have got a point. I don't think necessarily that this is just all some bullshit that the fans are coming out with. I really think that people are gonna hate this pay to win scenario, and it's gonna nosedive over that, and it did, and it couldn't have happened to a more beautiful IP. Really, Star Wars failing was the best example of a need to change that we're ever gonna get. If a fucking Star Wars game nosedived that far, the industry is going to shake from that, man. It's going to shake.
Yeah, I with it's like backtracking a little bit with like where things are going. I think you are right with like, how do I say it? Right. So at the moment, the whole point of these 0.5 consoles, what you've got to do is kind of like zoom out a little bit, and obviously at the moment, what you see is the last couple of years of your experience. If you zoom out like into a bird's eye view, You can see further into the past, and you can see a little bit further into the future as well, because you're further out from it. And when you do that, you can see a bigger time scale as well, and things start to make sense in relation to each other better, if that little metaphor makes sense.
Yeah, got you.
So what I think is really happening is these 0.5 consoles are a way that consumers will buy them. They have. And what happens then, it's a way to phase out the old consoles while keeping the same branding, because PlayStation don't want to get rid of PS4. Xbox don't really want to get rid of the Xbox One thing because it's their marketing thing that they want to go with. These next consoles are getting slated for 2020 because there's new GPUs and CPUs. You'll notice this generation didn't get new CPUs in them. They got heavily modified versions of their own original CPUs, and that's why we're still getting 30 frames a second, not 60, 140 frames a second. Yet the GPUs are that much of a push ahead that they're just sheer I've lifted too many dumbbells today sort of gym power are pulling the consoles forward alone. But they forgot to go to leg day, basically, is what's happening.
Unwarranted, though, in a midlife console.
But
what do you think?
No, because these consoles, they needed a step forward. You got to remember
in particular could handle gaming of a massive amount more power than its predecessor. It essentially is a next-gen console.
It is and it isn't. This is what I'm saying about sort of zooming out a little bit. So what's going to happen is they needed to get the base versions out of the way because they are too old now. But they didn't want to reset a console generation because they didn't want everyone... It's the age of the ecosystem. Like, you can't turn around and say, all your games don't work anymore, here's a new set. Like, we're past that. That's why people, with all the goodwill that Xbox are doing, people aren't... PS4 is accelerating because people are bought into it. Like, that's just the way that the cards have fell. So what they need to do, both of them, is with the new like Vega and things that are coming out, like with all the new chipsets, there's going to be, like, if you put, for example, just the next GPU along, but then you put a brand new CPU into an Xbox One X, the jump that you get from what is already ridiculously powerful in the top 5% of what PCs can do, it fucking skyrockets afterwards. When that happens, what you're left with, your base version, is your Xbox One X. Now think about the position that puts you in and the technologies that your games can then run. All of a sudden, you don't have a stalemate anymore. You don't have this perpetual 3 years of, shit, my games are tied down to old hardware. All of a sudden,
it's not just about the hardware, though, is it? It's the marketing campaign as a whole. Microsoft have put everything they've got into this Xbox One X. From an outsider point of view, you would think that they were launching a new console off the back of this. I have never seen a midlife console have this much fucking hype in all my life.
It's because it's only the second one, and fucking PS4 threw it out to the fucking wolves. Anyway, we've got
miniaturized 3 times since then.
I said this on episode 3 of our. I was like, he asked me about what do I think about all these new consoles that are coming out, and my reply was, how deep do you think my throat is? Because they're fucking everyone right down their throat because they are withholding technology. You can't say that they're not.
They're not withholding technology. You sound like a fucking UFO hunter. You sound like fucking Matt DeLong. Tom DeLong, Matt DeLong. You're not going to
sell someone your fastest car straight away. You're going to
start a fucking emo punk band out.
It's the way that consoles work. It's not in their intentions not to give you the most power for the money because the developers have to use it. And if the games are shit because you've put out a weak ass console, then you suffer. Look at Xbox this generation, and I say that as an Xbox guy. It's not in their intention. They will try and get you to buy stuff, but technology only moves forward at a certain rate. Anyway, we need to wrap this up. We got massively way too into sort of console stuff.
Should we just move on to Grand Theft Auto?
Yes, do.
Yeah, right.
Because,
right, we can do a separate thing. We'll do a little console special. We'll go deep into this at some point. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. It's you particularly. I've got something I wanted to pitch at you, but we'll carry on with that later.
Let's do it in a bit. Let's wrap up the gaming side of things, and then we'll do the pitch. I'll sit here in like my Dragon's Den seat. It's just like, what you got to show for me? If you're going to take my sons and daughters' money,
I'm out.
What's your pitch? Sorry, Al's like eagerly trying to get something out here, and we're just being pricks to him. Let's wrap up one little subject very quickly. God of War is getting released. I think it's 20th of April. Looks fucking phenomenal. Any opinions to go around there before we get into the meat and potatoes of like GTA and stuff?
I like the way they've revived it. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, like, I was being a dick. I was just saying he wears nice makeup. That's all.
He painted his face nice.
Yeah, go on, Rye. Sorry.
I think I like the way they've revived it, man. I've never really been one for God of War. It's your kind of borderline Devil May Cry type gameplay, hack and slash as they call it. I like the fact that it's taken some from the likes of The Last of Us. Oh, it's not The Last of Us, really, is it?
It's the PlayStation exclusive formula, and I say that like I'm enjoying my PS exclusives at the moment, but they're all the same.
I'm a sucker for narrative drive, man. I love a story in a game, and it looks like it's really playing on that with this latest God of War. Yeah. You know, it's very Uncharted. Which obviously it would be. It's the same fucking people. So.
Yeah. I'm not going to say much on it because it's PlayStation, and I haven't got a PlayStation.
You peasant!
You have an opinion,
you Xbox peasant!
He's a Drax wannabe.
This isn't the referendum all over again. You can take a side, and we won't hate you for it. Don't worry.
I'm not going to sit here and say because it's shit because I've never played. I've genuinely never played a Gods of War game, so I got no opinion. So
put an S in.
I'm going to say
that's how little he's played.
Is that what it is?
Gods of War.
There you go. Oh God.
Right, Al, you wanted to get into it. You have to look a little bit into GTA 6, weren't you? What have you found out there?
Well, no, I just saw a thing on, I think it was Lad's Bible or something like that, and it was just about these rumors about Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, you know, it's taken a long time to develop, but there's a reason for it, and the reason being is they're making a catastrophically huge fucking game. Like, rather than making a city or a county, they're apparently trying to make a country similar to the USA.
Holy shit.
The rumors are, I've got them written down here. That it sounds like if it's true, my dick is well and truly kind of hard, you know. So we've got working airports, so you can get on a flight to the city across the country. That's cool. Cars with fuel gauges.
We'd be pressing the skip button there, though, wouldn't we, Jimmy?
Do you know what, right? I don't know what episode it was, but go back and watch one that I called this, didn't I, Al? We did a podcast where we talked about GTA 6, and I said they talked years and years ago about wanting to make it into a world where they link stuff together. I was like, you know what would be wicked is like if they, instead of releasing sequels, if they release the next game almost like a DLC pack, but its own game where like you could literally put it in, you could go to an airport and then you could go to GTA 5 and it will just work. Yeah. Like it will just be built in a way.
You get on a plane,
just like, shit graphics.
In 5 hours.
Installing.
Yeah. What? £2,000, man.
Yeah.
I can't afford that shit. I'm gonna have to go and kill a few more people.
Blow up the plane and jump out with your oh, how cool would that? Oh, anyway,
Jesus Christ!
It's full on Al Qaeda. Like, cars with fuel gauges. I mean, that sounds really daft, but I think it's a really nice sort of like feature to have. I mean, it's annoying, but like, how real does it feel to have to go to a fuel station to refuel your car? Is it really?
You'd just rob another car, though, wouldn't you?
You would, wouldn't you?
It's just Grand Theft Auto.
Can you imagine if it was like 100% persistent and like after like 15 hours of gameplay, like there's just a city full of abandoned, no fueled cars. It's just like, for fuck's sake!
Or if
I
you
need
put
to go
diesel
fill up
petrol.
Oh, can you imagine? You've put the wrong fuel in. do the AA mini game where you've got to call them up and stand on the side of the road for 20 minutes and ring them back up. Just say, hi, I called 20 minutes ago and I was promised that someone would be with me by now, and there's no sign of anyone, and I'm still stuck here on the motor. And he's like, hello, are you a pregnant woman? Do we need to get to you faster? And he's just got to go through the fucking questionnaires.
And then they turn up with the orange van and you Hadouken them and take the van. VR, the internet VR, maybe. How cool would that be?
GTA in VR. That, like, you do not need another game.
See, that's the point I've been wanting to get with you, Jimmy, is that do you not feel like games as a whole are becoming these sort of experiences? Let me start quickly from the top. I've been reading Ready Player One recently. I recently finished the thing. It was a beautiful book. A sort of dystopian view of how things would be if VR had become integrated into modern society, as it probably will. And I can't help but see these games coming out around me, Ark, PUBG, and all these survival type games that we see. It's screaming for VR. I mean, these games are literally just you being you within a world. That is becoming, to me at least, what gaming is. Just be you within this world. There's little to no narrative drive in most of the most talked about games at the moment. And all I can see from that is that surely the correlation between this sort of failing VR industry and these games that are predominantly just you existing in a world has got to at some point culminate in just big fucking VR world. Log on your headset, do what you want. That's it. One platform for all.
So I can answer it in two ways. Like, there's like the big Ready Player One style answer, and then there's the just the video games and the industry answer. So that one first, one VR isn't failing. Like, it's not doing console numbers, but that's because it's never going to do console numbers.
In which case, it's failing, man.
It's not like the whole point is you got to understand. First of all, if you ever tried VR.
Oh man, I am an absolute ambassador of VR.
Yeah.
I love VR.
So
I wish VR had been accepted by the masses as much as it has by myself. You know?
So the thing with that is it's one of those experiences, and where you can't sell it to someone enough. I've got a friend called Chris who I basically, before I tried VR, I hated the idea of it. I didn't like the fact that it was going to take funding away from traditional games, just all sorts of things. The technology wasn't there yet. After I tried it, I was the complete opposite, and I had a lot of conversations with a die-hard person who felt the same way. He recently picked up PSVR, and I asked him the other day, actually, so what do you think to it? And he would just turn around, dead silence, he just goes, James, it's the future. And literally, that's it. Man. So the whole point of it is it's never going to take off until it gets to the point where, in terms of like mass knowledge, what it is. So what you've got to understand.
See a correlation between VR and the type of games that people are playing now. These kind of, just be yourself within a world type of games. The only thing that's separating them from immersing themselves in worlds in VR, it's the fucking price tag, man.
Yeah.
That is literally it. As soon as it becomes affordable, I feel like games as a whole are going to stop being about gameplay and more just be about existing in a world.
So the thing with that basically is you got to understand that what VR is, it's like the Sega Master System relaunching. We're back to like early generations, essentially. VR's got to go through the same amount of releases of headsets to go through all the changes. And at the moment, that Arc and stuff like that, that's the medium in which it can thrive at the moment. So that's what it's latching hold of.
In Ready Player One terms, man, the headset in Ready Player One is, I'm not sure if it was free or just very fucking affordable. Very fucking affordable. So your average Joe could pick up a headset and log on to the Oasis and just be in it. The way that they made the way that they monetized that was off transport, so that if you wanted to go to a particular world, you would have to pay a transport fee to get there. And I know this seems really whimsical and sort of a fairy tale, but to me it seems fucking obvious. Like, that is literally how it's going to go.
You guys are both fucking wrong. Let me explain something to you. VR, TENS machine, and porn. That's where it's going, motherfuckers. You're going to attach a TENS machine to your dick and some Russian birds.
That's just you. That's just you. That's not us, man. We still appreciate things outside of our dick, man.
There's actually a really cool video I saw not long ago, and it was at some tech con or something. And I think they're just dicking around, but there's these two guys with VR on, and one of them's doing this.
I saw that.
And the one's air humping. Like, it's so funny.
So, for those that can't see, obviously this is a podcast. Alex just gobbled a 12-incher.
So let me link it back into GTA. So you are right, and I think that we will hit that point, and we could go into a whole fucking Joe Rogan style podcast if we wanted to about where VR and implants and fucking nerve impulses and all that shit.
TENS machines.
And TENS machines. But what the first pioneering thing, like I was saying, so at the moment the medium for VR to thrive in is your ARC style games where there's no narrative. But when you then start taking that from a game where you're going around with a pickaxe trying to collect 10,000 wood to build a mud hut, or a wood hut rather, when you then can take that up and all of a sudden you're in the full release of Fallout, and then when you take it a step further and you are being fucking Michael in GTA 5 but in GTA 6, and you can do all of that shit, and all of a sudden there is a story in it, and all of a sudden you're going through heists and you've got like a CIA thing going on, and there's like people getting fucked over, and there's twists and there's turns and there's all sorts of story. That's when it will change.
Any narrative at all? They don't seem to require any. They only seem to require a world for you to create your own narrative in. The most successful games of the last year are literally worlds with tools set for you to pursue your own endeavors, and it just feels to me like there is an intimate link between the type of games coming out now and the type of peripherals we've got to view these games in, which granted haven't yet become taken on board by the masses, but ultimately that's going to happen. I mean, they're there now. They are there. They are waiting for people to fucking play them. So as soon as that happens, as soon as the PlayStation VR, for example, becomes affordable to the masses, and this type of gameplay exists within a VR platform, I think that's it for gaming. There's a part of me feels like narrative drive in gaming, as much as I'm sorry to say it, because I fucking love playing a story. I love playing a story, but I feel like it's becoming a thing of the past. I actually heard something recently on YouTube from someone that said that gaming narrative games are struggling in this generation because more people are watching playthroughs on YouTube of the game than they are buying them.
Yeah.
And that says something.
That makes sense to me.
That really says to me that, you know, if VR takes off, which, as I'm sure you agree, it inevitably will, it just needs to become more, it needs more mass appeal. It needs to be more affordable. And once it does, man, this type of gameplay that we are brewing now, this kind of, exist within a world gameplay will transfer immediately to VR. It will just be, I've got this feeling that will be it for games. Games
as long
as a whole will become...
As long as they make the right applications. I mean, you can't just make it for FIFA and have middle-aged guys running around the living room kicking their fucking cat.
Of course you can. Of course you can. People use the peripheral to go and play football. There'll be people out there that use
walking around the living room, kicking your coffee table, your kids in the face. Like,
I think... I think you're half right, and in a way, like, I don't think you've got to worry. I think at the moment, that's just the journey it's going through. I think once it's found its feet, in the same way that if you went back in time and you handed someone, or use the same analogy, if you handed someone a Master System, or let's skip ahead a generation, and you've got a Mega Drive, and you're like, Sonic's the best thing. You hand someone a Super Nintendo, Mario's the best thing, and then you compare that now to your Uncharted, your God of War, your Quantum Breaks, and the narrative push that they can get there. VR is just going to go through the same thing. So I hand you a PSVR headset, the best thing to play is maybe something like Ark. but then in 10 years' time, you hand someone that newer version of that same thing, and it's gone through the necessary changes, and you've got GTA 6 in VR mode, but it's got the story built onto it. I think you are right. That's where it's going to start off, and that will be the next few years, and it will dumb it down, but it will then build on it because that's the foundations built at that point. And at that point, I think once you've got through that little sort of that teething period, you're going to have those same narrative-driven things that you enjoy in a whole new way of experiencing them. And that is going to be 10 times better.
I'm all game for things becoming, I'm in a world, I do what the fuck I want. I'm all game for that, man. I love VR. The concept of VR is like you said a short while ago, it is the fucking future. It is where we're going. No matter what anyone says otherwise, that is going to happen. We are going to be immersed in our games fully.
And the thing is, it's dangerous as well because, to say it's dangerous, they reckon that they've actually found that gaming is actually addictive. There is something that's causing people to.
Yeah, but so's heroin, and that never killed anyone.
Well, man, they fucking monetized it, didn't they? They monetized gaming addiction, and it's worked. That's another gripe I've got with you, Jimmy.
We'll get into that another day. Because I've had a few Jaeger bombs, and that'll get fucking nasty.
Are you having Jaeger bombs at
I've literally, yeah, of course I've got Jaeger bombs at home. What else? What do you do?
There's something slightly uncool about having your Jaeger bomb at home, man.
Do you know what as well? I'm home alone, so I'm sat here, I'm talking to some guys on the internet drinking Jaeger bombs by myself. How fucking sad is that? Right, okay. Alien game. Right, let's steer away from VR. Do you know what? Right, if we do this too often, we will literally not get through any actual subjects. We talked about, what did we talk about? And then we started on fucking mid-gen consoles. Then we was like, Alex really wants to talk about GTA 6. Then we started talking about VR. Right, let's stick to this. Alien, new game, shooter, fire, go.
Yeah. So what kind of game would you like, though? I mean, I'd love the old style Alien trilogy. Give me that shit any day.
Yes.
I've got pink acid boots on.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Alex, there was only one right answer, and you just got a fucking A+. How good was
Alien
that?
Trilogy. Oh, it was so ahead of its time. That game was. It had everything in it, And you know what? They did that. Was it for the 360? They did that Marine Corps game. Aliens Marine Corps, and it was fucking wank. It was okay, but it wasn't Alien Trilogy. I was expecting a brand new Alien Trilogy, and I didn't get that. It was, that game was my youth. When the face hugger crawled up the screen.
And it started face fucking you, and you could see its little dick coming out, and you're just like, ah. Do you know what? I spent so many hours. The bit where you got to the dog aliens, and you're like, what the fuck is that? It's just scuttling across the floor. You know what? I plugged in my Ouya a while back. Yes, I have an Ouya, people. And I've got a PS1 emulator on there. And I got Alien Trilogy on it. And I went through thinking, right, let's fuck some things up. Went to press my left stick in and move forward. Nothing happened. Went to use my right stick in, and my right stick moved me. And I went to reload, or to shoot and then reload using a bumper, whichever one it was, thinking, right, that's going to be my reload because X didn't do anything, and my right bumper moved me around on my horizontal axis, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Literally, the control schemes of those games were fucked. Like, it's just, you didn't know. It took me so long to figure out how to move, and I couldn't do it. I got, like the first gun, you go down the corridor, you go into a room to the left, and there's a face hugger, and then you come out, and you turn left again, and then there's the first warrior alien. I didn't even get to that point with the first shotgun. Like, I couldn't do it.
My dad went out of town to work in Canada when I was young, and while he was out of town, me and my older brother decided to really fucking lay the law on my mum about getting a PlayStation 1. We took it as our opportunity. Right, the fucking, the bad cop's out of town. Good cop's gonna take a slapping here. Every day, every PlayStation 1. I PlayStation 1. Let's fucking do it. Like it was yesterday, the day that my mum took me and my brother to Dixon's, really begrudgingly, and picked us up a PlayStation 1 with Crash Bandicoot, Pandemonium, and Alien Trilogy.
Wow.
We brought the fucker home, man. It was about another week and a half until my dad got back, and we were all kind of shitting it. Not just my mum; everyone was kind of loosely shitting it. That dad was going to roll into town, and he was just going to pummel us for harping on at my mum to buy this thing. And he comes home, and sure enough, as soon as he comes through the door, my mum's kind of shaking like, I threw a few hundred at the kids for a PlayStation 1. And he goes, oh, fucking great. What have you bought him now? He comes through to the living room while Matt's literally on Alien Trilogy. What have you got here? And then that was it. That was like the start of a 4-year... a 4-year addiction to PlayStation 1 for my old man, and starting Alien Trilogy, which he absolutely adored.
Oh, brilliant.
Ending probably with Tomb Raider 3, I guess. Or Parasite Eve, I think, was the last game I remember my dad playing, and he hounded that console after that point. It couldn't have gone better for me and my brother. He hounded the console, and he got Parasite Eve, and I'll whip this up as quick as I fucking can now, Jimmy.
Right.
He had Parasite Eve on a copied disc from a dodgy dude we knew round the corner. And like any kind of Resident Evil type game that you've ever played, you've got to be kind of careful about the amount of things that you've got in your inventory, because you can break the game. You can literally get to a point where you've got not enough health to survive the next boss, and your save file is right before then, so you're fucked.
Yeah.
And he literally he broke the game metaphorically, and then he broke the game physically. I think that was the end of my dad's time with gaming, to be honest.
I did that. I tried to do that with a GameCube. I lost the plot. I think it was at FIFA Street. I went to put my foot through a GameCube, and my foot did not go through the GameCube.
Oh, you ain't breaking a GameCube.
Oh my God!
Have you seen the bit in the Transformers where Bumblebee goes up to the all spark, and it's like 25 football fields, and then all of a sudden it goes down into the size of a GameCube? Yeah, it's probably got the density of the 25 football. Like it's a black hole.
3310 of gaming.
It was the same. It was the all spark. It fucking was. My dad had the same thing though. My dad nowadays, he can't bring up his text on a smartphone. Like, he is that technophobic. But when I had PlayStation 1, he saw me playing Time Crisis, and obviously I had the Namco light gun, the giant one, like the Devil May Cry gun.
Awesome.
And that's the same with him. Like, he used to come in all the time. He did it as well a little bit early with Streets of Rage on Sega, but then he stopped, and then it was back on for Time Crisis, and he used to come in all the time.
Jimmy, do you remember the intro sequence of Resident Evil 2? When you had to literally get to the police station. There was that cheat halfway through where you could see Brad, the pilot from the first game, if you'd managed to get that far without taking a bite from a zombie. Regardless, I remember that entire sequence was a fucking nightmare. It was really hard to control. And my dad, bless him, was pretty shit at controlling games. And even though I was an absolute adolescent, I was really good at controlling games. I can remember when he wasn't in the room, like sometimes dabbling with the idea of putting Resident Evil on, and then looking in the stack and going, nah, fuck it, I'll just play Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I did say I borrowed Resident Evil 1 off a friend, and it must have been sat on the side for about a week, because I'd played it around his house. But obviously, playing it by yourself as a kid, it was a bit of a different story.
That shit used to shit me up, man. And then he'd come home from work and go, right, what are we
scary.
And
I would sit there and play Resident Evil with him, and he would force me to do that initial sequence. Granted, without his knowledge, to him we were just gaming, but as far as I could see, I was being forced into this intro sequence of Resident Evil. It used to fuck me up, man. Honestly, it used to scare the shit out of me. I'd be holding the pad, shaking, and trying my hardest not to get hit. And if I got a bite, he'd be like, "Oh, fuck's sake, you got
do it again."
It's good, man. It was traumatizing.
That's a great segue, actually, because like the last game that did that to me was the last Alien game. Like that game, I didn't complete. It was too scary. It was genuinely too scary, man. You get into a locker and you'd hold your breath, and the fucker would still find you in the fucking locker and rip you out and give you the most gruesome death. It was a beautiful game.
You want about Isolation?
Yes.
How horrendous was that game? It really, like, the AI on that alien, even though it was probably just walk around until you find someone, investigate the room, shit them up, and then walk off, sometimes kill him. That's probably what the AI was. But like
exaggerated hide and seek.
yeah. But it was horrendous, wasn't it? You know what? I'm so glad like we went down an old PS1 thing, because Al, that was the perfect answer. Really, because like just Alien Trilogy, that really scary. Yes, you can have multiple aliens. Alien was the best film, but Aliens was pretty cool as well. They need to do that straddling the line that Alien Trilogy did so well of. Each individual alien is going to fuck you up if you don't like get your shit together, but there's lots of them. So you've got to get your shit even more together. That's what they need to do. I think we've talked the shit out of video games for one day, and I think Alex is eagerly trying to get into his celebrity porn topic, so we've got a whole other thing to get through to get to that yet. So we haven't even covered.
This is going to be a quick one. Like I didn't know whether to bring this up because of that, But like, have you seen this? There was somebody released a porn video.
Oh, you're doing it now. You're doing it actually right now.
You want me to do it now?
I was going to say we've got all the films to get over, but if you want to talk about Gal Gadot's tits,
we'll let it happen.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about it now. We'll get the films at the end, right? But okay, so imagine someone, Jimmy. Imagine someone stealing your face and sticking it on some fucking guy so that they can bum you, like.
Fuck's sake.
This it's horrible. Like somebody has taken Gal Gadot's face and put it on a porn star and put it in a movie, and they've done the same with Daisy Ridley recently as well. And this has horrified me. Like, this is fucking wrong. What a strange fucking world we live in, where someone can steal your fucking face.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, like. It's weird that the technology's there, but the fact that it is, like, if I turned around to you and said, in a completely unrelated way, say, like, there's no build-up, Al, there's some technology where you can take videos and you can take someone else's face in video form and you can put that onto another video. Give me an application for it. You go, porn.
Yeah,
like literally that would be
normally I would, but in this circumstance I think it's not fair on the models themselves, you know what I mean, because it's not right. Like,
you know what, they should have fucking completely CGI'd just in general, they should have CGI'd Dundee into just a black screen that didn't fucking exist,
out of existence.
Do you know what, I'm actually appalled by this, like, everyone's talking about this new Dundee movie, and we got us excited as well. And it turns out it was fuck all. It was literally.
Was it actually? Is it actually fake?
It's a tourist advertisement for Australia. That's what it was.
Fucking hell.
It was just a ruse, and.
Well, the film isn't actually happening.
No, it's not. No.
Oh, are you shitting me?
They
I was mildly excited about it.
Yeah,
shitting me.
Stuff had even appeared on IMDb as well. That's how far they'd gone. It was reported that it was a tourist board advertisement from the Australian government, and
that's even more disappointing than what the film could have ended up.
And you know what? Right, I don't want to go on about. Are you in your kitchen? No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought you were in your kitchen.
Who, me?
No, Jimmy, he looked like he was in his kitchen. I was thinking,
Jimmy's in a very obvious living room scenario here, Al. There's photos on a shelf behind him. Who the fuck does that in their kitchen, man? Come on.
I just got a small. Anyway, so I've started doing a segment for another podcast, just like building a portfolio. Still Thors-Kin in my veins, and my first ever segment was a huge talk about Dundee and the reflection it would have on the fans, and how I went full on board with this fucking Dundee.
It serves you right, man.
Turns out to be
right.
fucking bullshit. Like, woo!
You should have never abandoned the foreskin, man.
No, I'll never.
Serves you right.
Like, it's a 7-minute segment. Like, I enjoy doing it, actually. It's just a 7-minute segment. But, like, I do the entertainment news on that, and I thought, let's talk about that. And now it turns out to be bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Like, so, yeah, Dundee, it's not happening. Would you like to have seen it happen then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, to be honest. And I witnessed your comments over the week between both of you. And don't get me wrong, man. We are living in an era of remakes across the board, musically and film-wise, man. We are in an era of remakes. It's like we've got no creativity of our own. But this one thing, I know that it's kind of dumb and futile, but there's a part of me that thought Danny McBride could breathe a new breath of life into Dundee, man. Definitely.
I think maybe they should.
It's not happening, man. I'm gutted.
Of all people to choose, though, I mean, I've said on the last show, I love Danny McBride. He's fucking hilarious. But go for an Australian guy. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be someone out there to do it. But
yeah, it would have always seemed sort of why wouldn't you go with the obvious? But at the same time, it's kind of like Danny McBride is a comedy genius. He can breathe a breath of fresh air into any old IP. I'm sure he could make Dundee pretty viewable again.
Speaking of old IPs, how would you like to see a Duke Nukem movie starring John Cena?
How would you like to get a set list for this podcast and have to scroll 16 times down because Alex thinks copying all of Wikipedia into what Duke Nukem was, is, and could be into the set list?
That wasn't Wikipedia. They were my own notes.
You writ that. You actually typed all that out. Wrote. Yeah, sorry. What, you writ it?
The Duke Nukem bit I wrote. Yeah, I did.
He looks enough like him. Apparently, he's made his grand soiree into acting. So, you know.
Yeah, he's got a film called Blockers coming out, hasn't he? It's a bit like... it's a bit Seth Rogen-y kind of that type of film, funny, and that's going to be like R-rated. And you know what, Duke Nukem would fit in really well with today's cinema, I think, with things like Deadpool and Logan, and you know, all of these films that are doing really well because they're a bit cheeky. And who's more cheekier than Duke Nukem? He's on a par with Deadpool, isn't he? I mean, you have pigs running around as police officers, like, fuck's sake.
It's still mildly depressing that all that this generation has got to offer is rehashes of what previous awesome generations had.
There's been good originals in there. We've had things like Baby Driver and stuff, like Deadpool, for example, kind of completely revamped its own little subpart of a genre. Baby Driver. I'm realising now that I'm really light on examples. That's it. There's been a few gems in there.
But they've also taken older things and made them beautiful. Like, for example, with Thor.
Like, for example, Baby Driver.
I think there's a difference between a remake and using an old IP to make a film that hasn't really been done before.
And we haven't had a Duke Nukem movie. And, I just worry about all these gaming movies that haven't done very well, obviously.
How do you think that'll pan out, though? I mean, Duke Nukem movie... Me and you are gonna fucking love that, man. I would go and see that if fucking The Rock was playing him, or Christ, I would watch it if Sylvester Stallone was playing him. I would at that cinema.
Hey, Piggy!
I'm the Duke Nukem. I'd be there, man. I would obviously be there.
And this is Michael Bay that's making this. Well, his studio who's making it.
Of course.
You know,
Part of me was about to go like, "Oh man, of course, what Michael Bay?" But then of course it's fucking Michael Bay, man.
Yeah, well,
Of
it's
course.
not. It's his studio that's making it. But like, if they're going to be doing it, then they're taking it with some sort of seriousness. It's not even been decided yet. But John C. They usually take an idea like this, write a script, like with fucking what's his name, Gambit. You know, if they plan it, they write a
That
script.
would have been good, man. I don't know why people were so against that shit.
That movie
That would
Gambit
have
has
been
been
good, man.
it's been okayed again. They were like, yeah, we're going to do it. And now
With what's his fucking name?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. Why the fuck were people so averse to Channing playing him? That was all right. He would have done good, man.
It would have been awful.
No, come on. It wouldn't have been any more awful than every other Marvel fucking film. It would have been fine, man.
But yeah, I think that'd be good. Duke Nukem. I think it would fit in really well. It's just that, you know, it's got the whole gaming curse on it, hasn't it? Like
that's the point I'm getting to. The only worry I've got is that their market for the entire thing is fucking me and you, Al. Fucking overweight, middle-aged people that's about their childhood.
I think the problem is that you get these executives that have never played a video game in their life.
Can you name a 20-year-old that knows who the fuck Duke Nukem is? Because I can't, man. I really can't. And for us, it was iconic. Do you know what I mean? It was a mass icon of everything that we knew and loved was in Duke Nukem. That was in the intention of Duke Nukem, was to literally be an ensembler of everything we ever loved.
And that's what
everything we ever loved was in the fucking 90s, man.
Yeah, they need to make it 90s. They need to make it a 90s themed movie.
Will they?
They won't know. I've heard rumors that it could be aliens attacking Earth, the sort of thing. I don't know, but this is what I'm saying. Like they don't follow from the games. They just get some executive that's probably never played the game, doesn't understand how it works. Like with Assassin's Creed, what the fuck was with that Animus? Like, give me a normal Animus. Like, I don't need some Animus. I get the idea of it in Assassin's Creed, the movie, like where he's running up the walls and it was lifting him around. Blah. I don't fucking need that. I played the game. I know how my Animus
and I
works.
hated the fucking Animus in that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, give people the exact essence of the game. Don't give them some other bullshit that you think is going to be great. Is going to be great for the kids and the kids will love. I
think that's our only market. I think a Duke Nukem movie, the only market they've got is me and you, Al. I think that is the only fucking market they've got is people who perpetually obsess over their childhood entertainment.
It's probably gonna suck ass. But like we'll wait and see what it's like. So how would you guys like a Mighty Ducks series?
There was one when we were kids again.
Yeah, there was there's the films, like the original films, like there was like how many of them?
No, it was also the animated series, man.
What's that?
Yeah.
Did you never watch the Mighty Ducks series? Oh, that was what show was that on? You know how you had Alive and Kicking that always went into Batman the animated series? Mighty Ducks had something similar where it was always on at a certain time.
I had the toys, man. I fucking love that shit.
Do you know what
I had no idea.
Yeah, but nowadays, Mighty Ducks is the last thing. Do you know what? If they're going to bring Mighty Ducks back, they need to bring back Mega Sharks or Super Sharks or whatever it was.
Sharky and George.
Street Sharks, you're on about
Street
there,
Sharks,
James.
that's the one.
Street Sharks. I'll educate you for a second. Street Sharks, James. It was the... They perpetually put out a absolute fucking shitstorm of plastic figurines with latex parts that had shark skulls that operated like fucking puppets.
Is that the one with Vin Diesel doing the advert on it?
Edit that out, for fuck's sake. Don't put this in the podcast. Edit it out. Edit it out, James.
It's all going in. No, I don't know.
What? Street Sharks. Vin Diesel did that advert for. Have you seen it?
No.
I'm gonna find this out. I'm pretty sure I put on Thors-Kin. Vin Diesel, I'm pretty sure it was Street Sharks, was doing all the toys and stuff like that. And there's one toy where he goes a bit too far with it, and it's just fucking sublime to see. He's just like,
Is it like that? Is it like that video of the guy who describes his dog attack that starts barking at the reporter? That's like,
it's Vin Diesel on
I
acid.
always find it mad that Vin Diesel was the voice of Iron
Giant.
The Iron Giant. Vin Diesel was the voice of Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant. Okay, so this is hilarious.
I'm starting to feel like we shouldn't have decided to drink all the way through this.
No, I think we should have.
I think it's an absolute genius decision, James. In fact, edit this in. I think that drinking throughout this podcast was an absolute fucking profound vision on my part and probably Alex's.
I'm looking forward to listening back to this, and it's starting out really coherent, and then, well, no, it didn't actually, but still starting out really coherent, and then just gradually turning into Mega Sharks, Super Sharks, Street Sharks, yeah!
It's all in the editing though, James. It's all in the editing. I mean, Christ, from this project that I'm working on, man, I'm going to break it down for you right now. We make these game videos, we make cartoons alongside them, and the amount of gaming that we do compared to the animating that we do is phenomenal. We sometimes there's been times in the past when we have literally recorded upwards of 4 months of gaming and come out of that with no more than 3 videos.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is? It's a concept called quality control that we have none of. So there will be no editing.
Jimmy, editing.
Nope.
Take it out.
It's all going in.
Out of the edit, man.
It's all going in. Right. Let's move swiftly forward. Completely organically.
I'm really worried about where I'm going to be in the forward from this point.
You're going to be the right way you should be, and that's in Thors-Kin's
pissed
arms.
moron on Thors-Kin podcast. Well played.
Have you got? Has any of you guys got a dickhead of the week?
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Let Jimmy go first, and in fact, let you go first too, man.
Right, Al. So what we've got to do, if you've got a mic splitter yet, because apparently we need to do 2 sets of audio in between. So I'll say a word, then you say a word, then I'll say a word, and then you can say a word. Right, my dickhead of the week is taking it back right to the start of the podcast.
Are you telling me you've got a dickhead of the week this week, Jimmy? You've never got a dickhead of the week, man. You've never got a dickhead of the week. I have been listening to this shit from the fucking start, man. Jimmy's got a dickhead of the week. Let's listen.
Hey, I had some. Do you want to be invited back on, or do you want to fucking never be invited back on? Do not cross me. Right. So, my dickhead of the week. Going back to Sea of Thieves. The lovely gaming media, which used to be brilliant. You remember how we always used to like eagerly await the new magazine to come in?
Games Master, man.
Stuff like that. And it used to be good reporting. It used to be news. It used to be this, that, and the other. The internet's fucked things up a little bit, and nowadays your website runs off clicks. Your clicks are based on your audience, and unfortunately you cater to a certain audience, and you go too far down that rabbit hole. What you're left with is poison nowadays. Unfortunately, that's just the way the internet works with clickbait. There's certain sites like Kotaku and Polygon and things like that that are basically what IGN shits out. Even though IGN, I don't hold them particularly in high regards. People like Polygon hire absolute fuckwits to do their reporting. So in the whole of this Sea of Thieves kind of stuff that's been coming out, Polygon have kind of, over the last couple of years, decided that, obviously, I know I sound like a tinfoil hat console warrior here, but because obviously PlayStation are completely trounced things sales-wise, a lot of people, that's what they click on is PlayStation stuff, and in the background the Xbox stuff has got put a little bit to the wayside, so there's a positive and a negative spin to the titles of stuff. Even when you get into sometimes the articles are completely fine. those clickbait titles really fucking grind my gears.
Great show.
But yeah, so I saw this title. Sea of Thieves gave me seasickness, so they probably should look into that. I was like,
fuck off.
What the fuck? Hang on a minute. What sort of entitled fucking millennial title is that for an article? Read into it, actually read the article. Yes, I gave them a fucking click. This guy had aquaphobia, and this is the kind of people that they put into reviewing a game called Sea of Thieves. So what the fuck? Like, literally, I have this conversation with people all the time about like media bias in between stuff, and it happens with everything. It happens between Android and Apple's are the fucking gods of everything. It happens between Xbox and PlayStation, the gods of anything. It happens between fucking sports. It happens with everything. It's just the way it is. It doesn't mean you're a console warrior or you're a fanboy of any sort. It's just it exists because that's the way clicks and internet and what's popular and what your audience shifts to. You could have a completely normal audience. You appeal to one of them. That's all you're left with because the other side don't click on your shit anymore. And yeah, this is the kind of people that they've got in now. These are the articles that they write. Is that they put in charge a guy who is aquaphobic to review and put out their opinions and their push towards. This is the industry that we love. Let's put positive news out there to get everyone behind a game so that the industry is supported. I got seasickness.
I didn't know if my mic was. My mic? What the fuck? I didn't see green dots.
That was brilliant. It's like he's never got to fucking listen to me.
Isn't he? He's such a professional.
Surely, if the game made him seasick, that's a good thing. Yeah.
In a way, but also stop being such a millennial fucking pussy cunt and stop actually do a reporting job instead of being a fucking prick about it.
Yeah, I'm not fucking disagreeing with you, Jimmy.
No, I'm getting riled up about him. Like, what a dick. Like, not him necessarily. I think it's more than anything. I think it's like the outlet and the way that media is working at the moment that pisses me off with stuff like this. I just think. Like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's just the way the internet works, where your audience and you start appealing to one group of people, you start then trying to go back towards the middle and try and sit on the fence. And the people that you started putting stories out that you were throwing, satire comments against because they like a certain product or a certain team or a certain this or that, you've alienated them. And then that's all you've got to appeal to is those. It's the fanboy side of it. And
you've got to go into things that is open-minded. You can't be...
Exactly.
Yeah. This game's about sea, so I'm going to hate it. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
My dickhead of the week is fucking gold. It absolutely is gold. So there's a guy called Mad Mike Hughes in the US, and he shot into the limelight because he's a flat earther. Yeah. That decided to spend $20,000 on a steam-powered rocket so he can find out for himself if it's flat. This guy actually built a rocket, spent $20,000 on it. It can travel 500 miles an hour, and he was going to go up, take pictures, and come back down. Like... What is this world coming to? I can't like when what's his name? What's the rapper's name that have come up with all this shit? Fucking the guy that did B.O.B. That's it, B.O.B.
Yeah.
He came out with this flat earth shit a few years ago. And everyone was like, oh my God, he's so right. I mean, he's probably been around for years, but I thought it was a joke. I thought these people were fucking like just taking the piss, being ironic, like. But people actually believe the Earth is flat to the point where they're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on equipment to shoot themselves into space at 500 miles an hour to prove whether the Earth is flat or not. There are people.
Did it actually happen? Because I thought he got shut down. Is that the same person?
He got shut down. He got shut down by the. Oh, I'm back on Daisy Ridley.
Do you know what they? Oh yeah, I wonder why. You fucking bookmark that page, haven't you? Do you know what they should have done? They should have let him do it and let Darwinism take its course. That's what should have happened. What they should do is there should be a government funding program where they all can get in their own little pods and go, this is your pod and this is your pod, and you get them all lined up in a row. It's like it's going to shoot you up into the air at 500 mile an hour, and you can see if the Earth's flat or not. And then when they do, and they see the curvature of the Earth, they'll be coming back down, and they'll be like, "Where's the parachute button?" And there is no parachute button. And they were all pointed towards North Korea, and it's two birds in one stone.
Two things are going to happen, though. This guy's going to either land and be like, guys, to all the thousands of people that are watching, it's round. He's going to look at dick.
Yeah, or, turns out.
Or he's going to come down and be like, yeah, it's flat and it's on a turtle's back. Can you believe that? There's a Discworld reference there if you're not familiar. But yeah, that's my dickhead of the week. Mad Mike Hughes from USA. Go America. Go America.
Yeah. Should we have my dickhead of the week?
Yeah,
Whip your dickhead out.
Well, my dickhead of the week is a guy called John Abbott of the Conservative Party, who made a statement suggesting that a mural by the artist Banksy should be removed from a bridge in the city centre of Hull, as it did not compare with the real art in the city centre of Hull. I mean,
in Hull.
For me, it's hard to digest comments. It's hard to digest comments like this from a man belonging to a party whose artistic talent is in fleecing the country's poorest to fund their own cost of living, man. Absolute wanker. Absolute wanker. That's my dickhead of the week. That's my dickhead of the week.
Hull is known for its artistic, what it's put into this country's deep heritage of artistic nature. Hull is on the top of that list.
Who fucking cares where it was, Jimmy? It could have been in fucking Wrexham, like where I'm from. This fucking cunt's got the gall, the absolute gall, to comment on art within his city. While
it's
his party
the Banksy.
The country. Yeah, fuck that guy, man. Dickhead of the week, John Abbott. Fuck you, man. You're a dickhead.
I'm sure that went down with the public, and I bet in Hull they were like, "Oh my!" How do they speak in Hull?
Probably not like you were.
Probably like us, Al. Probably like in English. But fuck, man. Let's pull it back to where it's at. You've got a Conservative Party member commenting on the validity of Banksy's artwork in the city centre of Hull. Not right, yeah?
Yeah,
that's not right.
It's probably
you
next
guys,
to a graffiti.
The only art is fleecing us for every fucking penny we know. As if you get to comment on expression. It's no fucking doubt that you're commenting on this, man. Banksy's fairly anti-establishment. Banksy is pretty much the most anti-establishment person that we could fucking know, man.
Didn't they didn't they look into, or someone came forward of who Banksy was? Didn't someone make a comment like they knew who it was? And it was.
I'm not entirely sure, man. I don't think he's ever been. It was recent.
No, it was. It was recently. Someone's made a comment about knowing who he was.
It worked by John fucking Abbott of the Conservative.
How funny would it be?
Jimmy.
How funny
Fuck
would it be
that guy?
If John Abbott was Banksy and he just wasn't happy with the work he did?
Fuck me. Can you imagine? I did a shit painting. All of a sudden, I'm really against anti-establishment artwork.
It's a valid point.
But yeah, that's my dickhead of the fucking week, man. Fuck
I love
John
the
Abbott.
passion.
What a wanker.
Absolutely love it.
What a wanker.
You fucking give it to him. That was fucking awesome, guys. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
What a great show! Like, we've got
Right.
a lot to go through.
Before we start sounding like we're wrapping it up, a superhero bar fight is next, so that is still coming. Even though
Yes.
we need to wrap up, we need to do all the paperwork and all the housekeeping shit now. Keep with us.
Yeah.
Keep tuning in, guys. Please
I've got a
watch
dead
us.
leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
been-
really out of booze here, Jimmy. I've drunk an entire stormtrooper's head in whiskey here, bro.
I couldn't tell.
Nah,
I love
seriously.
you, Ryan. I can't wait to have a few more drinks with you. I do love you.
It's
Man,
been
I've
a
got
good
to be
show.
honest, guys, man.
It
That
has
was
been a good
half
show.
half the onus on drinking for this show was nerves, man. You know, nervous.
Right, let's
Don't get me wrong.
let's
I am
wrap
not
it
an
up.
alcoholic. I just could not. I could not picture being on this show not pissed.
That's
I've
kind
got to get
let's
Welcome
wrap,
to
let's wrap
Thors-Kin.
it up before
I'm gonna
Ryan
do it,
gives
I've
away
got to be
Banksy's identity. He actually knows him.
Yeah.
Ryan is Banksy. Right. Awesome show,
Ryan
guys.
is
Thanks for tuning in. We've got a superhero bar fight coming right up. So
Let's
Thank you
do
very
it.
much for coming on the show,
Thanks for
Ryan. We
coming on,
love you
Ryan.
very much.
No
See you later.
sweat at all, man.
yeah, well, we'll definitely sit down and do a proper look into the gaming
gaming.
side of things. Hardware and tech
I
and
look
stuff like that.
forward to it, man.
industry-wise. But yeah, we'll do that another time when we didn't have a shit ton of subjects to get through. But until next week, peace out, bitches, and
Peace out,
Superhero Bar Fight
bitches.
coming up. Welcome to Superhero Bar Fight. So this week we've got a special guest joining us. If you're listening on the back of the podcast, we've got Ryan from Sketchy Connection joining us, and we're continuing with the 4-week tournament that we've got going on. So we're doing the second round of the heats. So we had Master Chief and Agent Venom going last week. Agent Venom took the win. And we also had, who the fuck else did we have? We had Red Hood versus Punisher, and Red Hood took the win. So next week we'll obviously be doing those semis, but we've got to figure this out this week first. So I guess fight 3 is the Joker versus Darth Maul. So Al, do you want to run us through Joker?
Yeah, okay. So, firstly, I chose these two because, like, it doesn't matter who they are and what powers they've got. They're two very well-known villains from their universes. Anybody talks about DC, and they talk about Joker as the main bad guy. So that's why I chose him. And now he's insane. He uses lots of props and traps and lots of toys. He's got just as many toys as Batman. They're a bit weird, but he does have them.
Do you think? Sorry to interrupt. What do you think Joker's sex drawer looks like? He must have some crazy props in his sex drawer.
Big old purple dildos. with smiling on the end of them.
Anyway,
Do you remember that scene in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels where a guy gets beaten to death with a 15-inch rubber black cock?
anyway, I sat down.
Jack in the box dildos, Jimmy. Jack in the box dildos.
I said, let's do superhero bar fight really clean and precise, and I'm the first one to step in and derail it. Carry on, Al.
He's a master of explosives. He's always blowing shit up. He's a master manipulator, and he has a high pain tolerance. And he's also he's brilliant at throwing a spanner in the works. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Darth Maul going against Joker. So obviously the double lightsaber. He's an absolute beast with that. We all know all he's got to do is press right bumper to do his spinny attack. I don't know how Joker's gonna deal with this, but his use of the Force, that's gonna be the main thing that's gonna throw a spanner in the works.
Basically, from where I'm coming from, man, Darth Maul just whoops Joker. Force wielding Sith Lord. Joker's a goner.
We've all seen him do like all the acrobatics works he can do, and I was reading a little bit into it because I was sort of thinking all he's got is a lightsaber, the Force, and he can do spinny shit. Turns out, obviously, if you follow the animated kind of things and the comic books, he's got mind-probing abilities where he can step into someone's mind and read their thoughts. And he's
robot legs and the ability to choke some fucker, man.
Yeah, that thrown in, and the I put down here. Basically, you'll be seeing a shadow tactician. What I mean by that, basically, he essentially sorted out this super covert group of badass motherfuckers to go on some bitchin' missions. So that's sort of like that dark, cloaked, sort of covert group of people. He is the head person when it comes to being able to do stuff like that. So, setting the scene this week, I think there's only one way to play this fight out. Imagine yourself in episode 1.
No.
Oh, come on. We've got to do the laser bit.
Bar.
They're not in a bar. Fuck off. They're not in a bar. They're not always in a bar. Al, if you do this every week, I swear to God, I'm going to find a new co-host.
It's a bar fight.
No.
They're in a bar.
Let's take ourselves to episode 1. There's a series of laser gates, and he has just fucked up Harley Quinn. He's just stabbed the shit out of Harley Quinn. And the Joker is like, you know what? You've fucked up my missus. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. So he's waiting casually for the first set of lasers to go down, and he's pacing back and forward, and it's really boring, and they probably should have cut this part out of the whole thing. And then the first load of lasers go down.
Wielding.
Yeah, the first set of lasers go down, and then another set come up, and they pace back and forward again, and it's really boring, and it's even more so that they should have cut this part out of the movie. But then the second lot of red lasers go down, and they're at it. What happens?
The Joker pulls out a rocket launcher and shoots fucking Darth Maul and blows him to pieces. Done.
And that superhero bar fight. See you next week, guys. No, fuck that. That would not happen.
Guys.
He could use the Force quite easily and just redirect any what's the word? Projectiles, anything like that that's coming towards him. The Force deals with that quite easily.
Down to what it actually is. Joker is basically, at his core, he's got a series of explosives that he could use.
Okay.
At his core. Granted, he parcels them explosives up in some pretty artistic ways, man. Lots of them have chittering teeth or presents that blow up, teddy bears, etc., etc., etc. Darth Maul is a fucking Sith Lord that could lift Joker up into the sky and choke him into one of the boxes that he holds his fucking deranged presence in.
Can a Sith Lord inhale laughing gas and it not affect him?
I think
probably affect him, man. But at the end of the day, he's still a Sith Lord. It'll probably affect him. In that
case, all Joker needs is a flower on his fucking jacket. Sprays it in
I'd
Darth
love to
Maul's
see.
face. It's a crazy laugh till he dies. You know?
I'd love to see the Joker run through that second set of laser gates and just get his little squirty poppy that's on his lapel, and all of a sudden Darth Maul's laughing. Here's what I think would happen. So Darth Maul, first of all, he's going to look at the Joker and think, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I've just fucked your girl up. You are nothing. He's going to get into his mind as the first thing. He's going to play about with him because Darth Maul is a sadistic fuck. So Darth Maul is going to use his mind probing on him to get in and basically play about with him, and he is not going to like what he finds. And what's going to happen is some crazy Matrix thing where it just absolutely takes him off his feet by what he sees in Joker's mind. So all of a sudden, I think Darth Maul, for the sake of making this interesting, he's going to be on some mental back foot with what he's seen in Joker's mind.
I don't think Joker is even the type of character to wait for a laser gate to disintegrate. I think Joker would probably be pretty bored by that, to be honest.
So what we've actually got is 5 slices of Joker ambling their way towards Darth Maul.
Joker hasn't got if Joker hasn't got the better of the scenario, he's out, man. Joker's not going to wait around for someone else's fucking.
Do you know what? I actually think
he's not going to wait for Darth Maul to drop the gate. He makes the fucking gate, man.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Is that in that time that he's waiting, he's thinking, how the fuck do I actually fuck with this guy? Because he knows that he can outmaneuver him and he could just slice him in half. But he also knows that because of the type of person that Darth Maul is, that he can actually play mind games with this guy because he's going to want to play with him back. So
like you said, Joker is mind's fucked, and he's an anarchist. Like you that bit where they fucking turn off their lightsabers and they concentrate and they will up the Force. You're gonna be able to do that while Joker's fucking
non-force wielding, Al. Non-force wielding. You know, Joker can have all the gadgets up his sleeve that he wants, but Joker cannot pick up Darth Maul and choke him midair.
I don't think Darth Maul's going to bother with the Force choking, though, until they've played about a bit, and that's where Joker comes into it. And don't get me wrong, right? I know where I'm going to head with this in a few moments, but I reckon there's going to be a few bits towards the start of this where Darth Maul's going to be doing some mind probing, he's going to be set on the back foot. I reckon Joker's going to take a few seconds while he's waiting for those gates to open to think, how the fuck do I mess with him?
We don't know a lot about Darth Maul. Darth Maul's quite a conserved character, man. He doesn't really say a lot other than, at last, we will seek our revenge. At last, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't really say a lot more than that, man, other than the fact that he's a total badass. You know, there's no part of his personality that we know.
All right, let's break. No, there's lots of personality with the series he's been in and the comic book. So let's actually break this down.
If we're going to break it non-canon, Jimmy.
All that shit was canon until Disney took over, but we made a pact. We're not going to get into statistics and canon. We made the fucking pact, right? So this is
all right. Let's have it.
This is what's happening. They get through the gate. Joker puts Darth Maul on the back foot because Darth Maul decides to have a play about in his mind first, thinking he can fuck him up and have games with him. But he gets hang on. Darth Maul is that sadistic. He's a master of that kind of shit. So in that moment when he's down, he's gonna completely fuck with him. And you know that moment in episode 1 where Darth Maul smiles and you see those gopping teeth? Joker's gonna offer up a proper nice pearly white set of wind up gnashers for him and go, try these, mate. And they're gonna put him in his mouth and he's gonna click a button and go and boom, off comes Darth Maul's lower jaw. But we all know Darth Maul can be split in half and survive, so that's not going to take him out.
I honestly believe
but Darth Maul's jaw is hanging off. Al, take it from here.
No, I disagree. I chose Joker because he's a prominent villain, but I do believe that no matter how much anarchy and how much chaos that the Joker can bring up, he's no match for the Force. He would end up as a kebab. He would end up a kebab in 30 seconds.
A Force kebab, Alex. Force kebab.
Ass to throat.
Force habab.
I reckon Darth Maul's jaw still, for those reasons, for the sake of making it interesting, would still be hanging off. But at that point, right, Darth Maul goes, you know what, I'm not fucking with this guy. Let's go around one each. With the use of the double-ended lightsaber and the Force, how would Joker win? Al, you first.
How would Joker win?
Darth Maul win, because we all know it's happening. Use the Force and a lightsaber in a imaginative way. Hit me.
I think that anything that the Joker would throw at Darth Maul will be just repelled back with the Force. He would then pick him up, hold him in the air, and just skewer him right to his asshole, right to his throat, and the red tip of his fucking lightsaber will be sticking out of his mouth, and he'd still be laughing.
What, Joker would still be laughing?
Yeah. I think that Darth Maul versus a good portion of the DC universe would be a Darth Maul win. We're really talking like, you know, severe cross-genre battles here, man.
So using the Force and the double-ended lightsaber, Ryan, how does Darth Maul take it for you?
How does Darth Maul take the Joker?
Yeah.
There isn't a single move the Joker could make for me that wouldn't ultimately become a Darth Maul victory. You know, the Joker could throw out his tear gas. The Joker could throw out his laughing, fucking chattering teeth bombs. This is Darth Maul we're talking about. This is Sith Lord Darth Maul. Literally, within 2 strokes, holds Joker up midair, chokes him to death, tosses him into another galaxy. It's Darth Maul, man. He's a fucking Sith Lord.
Well, what I reckon's going to happen is straight after that chattering teeth moment where Darth Maul's jaw's hanging off, he goes, you know what, fuck this, holds him into place with you know, like a force hold, walks some circles around him quite ominously, puts his lightsaber on and just holds his lightsaber right into Joker's jaw and gives him a proper Chelsea smile and then pulls straight down, and Joker would just fall to the floor in bits with a proper smile.
Basically. Yeah.
I reckon Joker could have some fun, and he'd make it interesting. It would be a fun fight to watch, but I think there's only one winner here.
How about Joker versus Judge Dredd, man?
Well, let's save that for another time. I reckon if we wrap this up here, I think Darth Maul has unanimously taken the win on this. So he's going to be moving forward to his round of the semis. So let's move on to the next one straight after this. We're going to be uploading them straight away. So make sure you give us a like and subscribe. If you think you agree or disagree, make sure you sort of like let us know what you think in the comments.
Give us some love.
Give us some love. See you next time. Welcome to Superhero Bar Fight. So we are going to jump into, well, what is round 4 of our 4-week tournament. So we've just wrapped up Joker versus Darth Maul. So make sure you tune in for that. If you're watching this video separately, because I'm not going to spoil it. If you're watching it off the back of the podcast, you're going to know who wins. But if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you do join in and sort of take a look and let us know what you think. So the winner from that fight will be moving forward to face the winner of this fight today in the semis. And today we've got Kratos going up against Wonder Woman. So let's kick things straight off. So Kratos, obviously the sort of the lead man for PS4. We've got the superhuman strength, which cannot be denied. This guy's gone toe to toe with Hercules before, and his agility and acrobatics. We all know what he can do. Just one press of an X button, and he can scale a fucking titan. He's an absolute fucking beast when it comes to that. But the meat and potatoes of this guy are the next 3 points. Blades of Chaos. He's got the swords on the end of chains. His Medusa's gaze, he can turn anything to stone, and a complete control of the elements, which admittedly are across sort of different games abilities and stuff. But he can shoot out lightning, he can make tornadoes, he can spew fireballs, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. He's like a scaled down, customized character who can just do any ability, essentially. Can
he fly?
He can jump pretty far, but if we're talking about flying in an invisible jet, then don't get fucking too far ahead of yourself. What you got for me?
So obviously, Wonder Woman is a demigod. She has the lasso of truth. She has the sword and shield. She has the amulets, the bracelets that she uses. Flight and superhuman strength, and a pair of killer thighs.
A pair of killer thighs. You know, it's like the god of war versus the god of going for a wank, isn't it?
She's fine. She's fine looking, but I think I don't think that distracts from her efforts in war. Like, because she is born for battle. She loves it. You know, she craves it.
She is, and I think her training and everything. Like, she's part of a culture that. Like, that's what they're raised on. But Kratos is the god of war. Like, that's what he is. So if we're going to judge this solely on if their heart's in it, if they want the fight or not, if they want to win, there's only going to be one way. Like, one person that comes out on top then. So you've got to work for it if you want Wonder Woman to win on this one, Al. Superhuman strength on Kratos' side. This guy's gone up against Hercules before, and I mean, we've all seen Wonder Woman.
She is Hercules. She is like, in fact, no, I think Hercules is a step down from her.
Yeah.
And I do believe this is going to be easily swayed in Wonder Woman's favor. And I'll tell you why. Is her shield and a sword aren't just any sword and any shield. They're of considerable strength. Like you're saying, he's got these swords on chains like that. Her sword could rip through those chains. I guarantee you that sword is pretty fucking awesome.
You've got to remember that Kratos has gone through all the same magic stuff that embodies all of Wonder Woman's weapons. It's in Kratos' weapons as well. Everything that Wonder Woman has in terms of like the mystical element to things and the enchantments, it's all in Kratos' as well. So far we're saying that the strength is probably going to sort of go against each other. The blades and the sword and the shield are going to go against each other. I know one thing that's going to start, it's going to sway one side or the other, and that's the lasso of truth. So I reckon, I mean, we haven't even set a scene here. What's going on with these guys? Why are they actually fighting?
Okay, so they're in a canyon.
They're in a canyon. I reckon they should be in a bar this time. I reckon Wonder Woman. I reckon Wonder Woman's going for a cheeky drink because she's just finished stopping the world. She's fed up of having to carry Ben Affleck's fucking weight around the film set. So she's gone for a drink, and Kratos walks in there. He's like, "What's this fine piece of punani?" And walks over thinking, "Girl, you fine." I don't know why all of a sudden he's just completely breaking character. But I reckon Wonder Woman's going to be pretty pissed at this sexual harassment. So first thing she's going to do is take to Twitter and say that Kratos has tried to sexually harass her.
Live tweet it.
She is, yeah. I reckon she's going to live tweet some sexual harassment case. But before people take that the wrong way, we'll just get into the fight. The lasso of truth is coming out, I reckon. And that lasso of truth is going around Kratos, and she's going to ask one very important question, and that is, which console is the best? And I reckon what you'll hear is the camera will zoom out from the bar, and then it will be into this canyon. Well, you did say they're in a canyon or something like that. And you see the moon overhead, and you can hear the crickets, and you just hear this scream out, which console is the best? Nintendo. I reckon so. And that realization will fuck Kratos over. All of his fanboyism and everything will just go down the pan. He knows Nintendo's the best. He knows he can't compete with Mario. That gives me a good idea for Kratos versus Mario for the future.
I think if they're in a bar, she'd want to get him out of there, save people. So she'd wrap that lasso around his neck, jump out the roof of the bar, drag him out there with her, and then they're in a canyon.
You got your way then. Yeah.
I really want that fucking canyon. No, they're just out in the open. It doesn't have to be a canyon.
No, we've said it 4 or 5 times now. They're in a canyon. Let's roll with it.
I'll be in a canyon. Anyway, he can wave his chains around as much as he wants, and Wonder Woman's just going to parry him off with a shield. And I think she could easily tie him up with that lasso of truth. She could, like, it's a weapon of the gods, like.
Yeah, I think it's Kratos has got the ability to withstand. Like, no one else can sort of get out of that, but he is also a demigod. He is the same mystical level when it comes to that kind of stuff as her. So yeah, she's going to get a Nintendo confession out of him, but he is going to break out of that lasso and rip it to pieces as quick as it works for her. So at the moment, that strength is a stalemate. I think the acrobatics is a stalemate. I think that his blades on chains and his sword and shield is a stalemate. What it comes down to is what else have we got?
She can jump so high and just fucking charge him. Wabam! Like a nuclear bomb. She'd hit him with the shield and the sword from above. Bird's eye view. Smash! She'd hit him and he'd look like a fried egg.
He can withstand shit like that. This guy has been. He can fucking. He's had titans. He's been in the palm of a titan's hand and got out of it. He just with it by doing holding his hands up and fucking pushing upwards. That's the kind of power that this guy has got. So yes, it's going to be a good back and forward, them beating the absolute living shit out of each other. There's going to be some black eyes, but that height and the agility it's going to bruise him, it's going to punish him, but he can do exactly the same back.
I'm a bit stumped on this one, in all honesty, because I don't know enough about Kratos.
So the one extra thing here that Kratos does have is the control. Well, two things: control over the elements, which for the most part isn't going to do too much. I think there's going to be lightning bolts flying about. There's going to be fireballs. There's going to be tornadoes going around that really aren't going to have too much effect over Wonder Woman. But I think there's going to be one Mortal Kombat style finisher that takes the win for me, and that's the Medusa's gaze. Is that with one look, he can turn her to stone.
Okay.
And I reckon it is going to take some getting into the right position to do so, because Wonder Woman is going to bounce around. She's got, like you say, she's going to be jumping all around. But if he can get that gaze on her, she's going to be stone.
She's also very, very fast. With that shield upright, she can back in two, use that shield like a battering ram, and just constantly just keep hammering him with it. I don't know. This one I'm really stumped on. If you want to give it to Kratos, we'll give it to Kratos, because I don't know enough about him. If he's got powers to that effect, and you really think it's going to be enough to stop her,
I wonder. See, the thing is, obviously, people let us know if we're completely wrong. But if he's got to make eye contact, he's got to disarm that shield for Wonder Woman. Otherwise, it's going to be Jason and the Argonauts all over again, right?
I just think she's also got the height advantage in the way that she can jump as high as she likes. As much she can't fly, but she can pretty much fucking jump as high as Superman can fly, and she can just fucking hit him like a fucking meteorite. I don't know. This is a hard one. It's a stalemate. I think we should give this one to Kratos on the fact that I'm really pulling at straws here. Like
I reckon they're so closely matched here. That's why when we said we'll do Wonder Woman, that's why I said let's put Kratos against her, because they are so closely matched. However, looking into Kratos, he's just got one or two little weapons extra to what Wonder Woman's got. Everything else is a complete stalemate. So I reckon I'm gonna have to pull this one out. I reckon that at some point, if he can get that Medusa's gaze on her, she's gonna be stone.
Okay, so they're battering each other until they're both cut to ribbons. They've got no energy left, and his last card is to just stare lovingly into her eyes as she turns into stone.
Pretty much, I reckon that one last little ounce of effort that they each have, when all that they can actually do is look at each other, Kratos has got that one weapon that actually is his sight. And
Okay,
Wonder Woman's stone, and one last little swing of the Blades of Chaos, and she's in rubble.
So we're ending with stoned Wonder Woman.
We are ending with stoned Wonder Woman. Don't do drugs, kids. So Wonder Woman? Fuck it. You know what? I've just fought for Kratos to win. Fuck it. Wonder Woman moves forward. No, Kratos, I think, is moving forward just about, and we are talking millimeters ahead.
Without ease,
Completely without ease. He's going into the semis to go against, do we want to ruin it if people haven't seen episode 3? Do we want to say?
Yeah,
No.
fuck it.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. Go on. So, yeah, Darth Maul took the victory against Joker. I think you guys could have realised that already. So, Darth Maul is going to be going up against Kratos, but next week we are going to be doing what's that, Agent Venom versus Red Hood. So make sure you tune in next week, guys, and if you like the video, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, because it comes every week. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you think we're right or wrong in the comments, and how things would have been differently. But until next time, peace out.
Peace out, bitches.